Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm Sandeep Hajra. I lead the e-commerce division of PwC India. So I have a large team and we eat, breathe e-commerce on a daily basis. So, and this is very exciting time for me to see the evolution which is happening in the space of e-commerce. E-commerce 1.0 to e-com 4.0. Before 1990s, you know, you didn't have modern trade, and that was actually the cornerstone for establishing e-commerce like what we are talking about today. So e-commerce 1.0 was basically a leapfrog from unorganized retail to organized retail, and having them have a digital savviness established. It started with horizontal trade, like it was like multi-category system that time. Everybody was selling everything. Then Ecom 2.0 was majorly for vertical trade. So it was like the D2C players, the niche skilled items started building their own platform. Ecom 3.0 was basically the social commerce. So where we tried to reach out, or the social commerce retailers tried to reach out to larger audience, because before that, e-com was majorly at 20 million, 30 million household items, and they really wanted to crack the tier 2, tier 3 cities. And that was majorly a time when LTV to CAC was tried to be cracked. Like they really wanted to make a lifetime value of customer more than the customer acquisition cost. So that was the time social commerce was evolved. And then the quick commerce is ecom 4.0, which I just call it like that. So which is basically all about speed, all about having the impulsive buying ness of customers fulfilled by different platform. And as per my hypothesis, which we'll discuss more during our discussions today, that it is kind of an offline emulation of online business. Example, that when we think about a kirana store, generally it takes 10 to 15 minutes to buy groceries, right? And when you think about fashion, you go to a mall and it takes hardly 1 hour to browse and buy it. So same emulation is happening in Q-commerce, where you are getting groceries in 10-15 minutes, and you are getting fashion apparels with curation, with catalogs and costing in 1 hour. So we'll discuss more about it, because that is a topic, Q-commerce and its all nuances. And I have 4 eminent entrepreneurs with me, and they need no introduction. I have Mr. Bharat Sethi, founder Rage Coffee. I have Aman Jain, CEO Doodhwale Farms. I have Ankur Bhatia, founder Jimmy's Cocktail. And I have Sahil Dharia, founder and CEO Soothe Healthcare. So you can understand, we'll talk about categories which are of different nature. So it will be very interesting conversation. Please be part of it. We'll have some time when we'll ask questions from you. Please be as interactive as possible. We'll try to make it very impromptu kind of a session. I have not expressed my questions to them, so they will have to answer whatever I ask right now. So, and when I ask anything, it has to be with their customer journey, their own journey, not customer journey. And I'll start with Mr. Bharat. So Bharat, I think Rage Coffee has become a rage, and I think you are one of those first players who had kind of envisioned that Q-commerce will be a big thing. And you started during COVID time, if I'm not wrong, right? I was just reading your post, so I'm just copying whatever you've written there. So just talk about that journey and how you kind of thought that this can be a big thing, or it was kind of one channel which you wanted to explore. Just tell your story here.
Audible? Okay. We were actually the first players on coffee players outside of, I think, the legacy players, to legacy giants. We're the first player on grofers back in 2000, I think 19, early 19. So then obviously grofers evolved into Blinkit, and at the same time Swiggy started Instamart, I think 2020 August. So we were the first coffee player, challenger coffee player on these platforms. So we've obviously seen the entire journey of QuickCom. But in our minds, we've always been a very omni-channel brand. I mean, the brand is bigger than the channel always. The brand really matters. The channels can keep evolving. So, it was very hard to predict where QuickCom would go after, especially after COVID. Because although we could see the growth, we could see what benefits it is bringing to the consumers and the brands alike. But will the habit stick on was a question mark. Obviously, since the sector attracted a lot of venture capital, the sector, sort of had to grow it this way, where it has now become almost 50% of F&B commerce, e-commerce. So yeah, I mean, we're riding the journey, I would say, and obviously it has evolved quite a lot.
And your website is very nice.
Thank you.
It was very smartly designed, like the animations and all. I really liked it. Yes. So moving to then Aman. So Aman, you have the mic, right? Yeah. So Aman, for your journey, because grocery and especially milk product is a high TAM item, and I just want to understand that one of the problem statements of Q-commerce world is a quality and having that delivered with proper timeline of the expiry. So just talk about your journey and how you kind of again planned for making it on this 10 minutes, 15 minutes kind of a platform journey.
Sure. Thank you so much, first of all, for giving this opportunity. See, for Doodhwale Farms, our core thesis for a very, very long time has been that we really wanted to control the customer experience, precisely for the reasons of quality, repeatability, and hence the right sort of margin structures. But what we also realized, and in that spirit, we have primarily been a D2C heavy business, right? Through our own website, our own app, our own exclusive brand outlets. QCom for us actually has been a more recent sort of foray. And I would say that there were two big things that we wanted to solve through QCom, right? As an early stage brand, we could see that the consumer behaviors have been shifting to QCom. Specifically for their daily needs, they have become much more restless, much more impulsive, much more impromptu, right? And hence, QCom was really serving that sort of use case, right? So we wanted to be a partner there and reach to many more households. The intent has always been that the QComs will help us reach to that last mile. Obviously, for a product like us, the onus of quality is with us as well as on the supply chain logistics that the QCom has put in place. But that is where we have to work collaboratively with each other. And it has been quite a ride, right? I mean, it has grown. We have been able to reach to the levels of about 30 to 40% of our business now coming from QCom within a span of 6 to 7 months. Whereas our D2C business has taken us 4.5 years to reach where it is today, right? And hence, we feel that it is a rocket ship in making, and hence, we have to find the right way to coexist with them and be able to leverage the overall potential this channel carries. Right? That's pretty much how our journey has been so far.
Okay, and was it like a channel decision taken based on the consumer behavioral changes, or it was something that you also figure out that probably I have to become more hyper-local?
No, I think, see, we had our own limitations on how much hyper-local we could be through our own logistics and through our own muscle, right? And the market is huge, right? You yourself said that the TAM is high. The TAM is indeed high. However, for a brand like us, which specializes in high quality, protein-rich products, right? The TAM sort of slightly reduces. But at the end of the day, it is still very much, right? And QComs were already investing in reaching out to those customers, right? So for us, as a product first brand, we felt that this is not really a competition for us, but rather an extension of our overall business. And that is the core reason we wanted to partner with them and sort of work.
So it was an incremental choice.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'll move to Sahil now. So Sahil, I was also reading some of the articles that now we are talking about groceries and everything in 30 minutes, but now like there are maid services being available in 30 minutes. So Q-commerce is making the portfolio larger and larger, and especially OTC products, or pharma products or drugs. Those are the necessity, like those are basically solving those problems using Q-commerce, solve a lot of societal problem as well. And you are doing that with your OTC products. So tell about your journey Of course, you are heavy on general trade, but you please talk about more on the Q-commerce journey and how you are growing there.
Thanks. So, starting with our customer journey, so we have Pari sanitary pads is what we do. We manufacture, distribute, and market across India. And for us, reason to exist is two things. One is when we started the business, we hired an external research agency, and we wanted to understand. 8 out of 10 women told us that they are unhappy with the existing product, and there were only 2 products. Now there are 4, and there were only 2 at that time when we started about 8 or 10 years ago. 8 out of 10 women saying they're unhappy was, wow, what's wrong with this picture? And you go deeper, and we understood why. And we found that the incumbents had very little reason to innovate or create anything new. All decisions were made in Cincinnati, Ohio, or New Jersey, and applied in India because we're a country of snake charmers. So we actually so reason number 1 for us to exist is we created better quality products that the local needs require, right? Not the American climate, not the European climate, the Indian climate. What is a product you need that does not give you rashes? What is a product that does not give you gilapan? So chipchipahat is what we use in our category. So we actually created those products. So our number 1 reason to exist is, madam, badhiya product mil raha hai. That's our number 1, right? So that's number 1. The number 2, which you mentioned, the societal, there's a very strong sense of purpose behind what we do, because till today in India, only 30% women use this product. And there's a very high growth market. So our business mein, market share is not a metric, growth share is a metric. So there's a very rapid, aggressive penetration growth. So the combination of those 2 is our reason to being and exist, and this is what we are solving for from a customer journey perspective.
This is wonderful.
And of course, we are in QCom, we are in eCom. Bulk of our revenue is offline. Ecom and QCom have helped us become across the visibility that any consumer brand now needs to be across various layers, not just one or not just QCom. So we like the strategy because it gives me brand visibility everywhere, 360 degrees. QCom has grown very rapidly for us, and we've so has Ecom and QCom. Both have added those skyscrapers very quickly. Will it continue to grow that way? I don't know. We'll see.
We'll also discuss about this,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I will
I'll
talk about
pause there
horizontal
then, okay.
versus vertical in Q-commerce also. Probably will fall under this vertical journey of Q-commerce. Yes. Now moving on to Ankur. So Ankur, your category was made for Q-commerce, right? Is it? Yeah, I think it's working. Your category was made for Q-commerce, but when did you realize, and how did you kind of grab the market and disrupted it?
I think when we started, there was no Q-commerce. So the brand and the category was actually then designed for modern trade. We envisioned the company got registered in 2019, 22, and at that time when we registered, we were all from retail and sales and marketing, so we only understood GTMT and nothing else. COVID happened, and there was a rise of D2C, although D2C existed earlier, but there was a lot of rise of D2C. Then COVID settled down, and that's when I think 2022, when we operationally started the company. And we were playing in a very new category with a very simple insight that 75% of alcohol consumption is at home. While the entire category looks at the size of the category from a 30 ml or 45 ml peg, what happens in the balance of the glass is basically the simple insight we came from, and that for us was always water, soda, and few other things. So we started innovating, keeping the balance half in mind. We're a non-alcoholic brand across several mixer categories. At the time we started, there was no name called mixers. So one of the good things that happened from quick commerce is at least the category now has a name. So it was very hard to even convince people that there is such a category. But we saw rapid growth right away. What has happened in the last, let's say about 12 months or 18 months is that I think even quick commerce has reached a certain inflection point where it's sort of shot up. Just like Bharat said, we've been on Instamart since 2022 when we started, and then Grofers earlier, which moved to Blinkit. But I think for different categories right now are behaving very differently on quick commerce. Mixers is the fastest growing beverage category on quick commerce. And for the simple reason that, let's say if all of us, this was not in the middle of the day, but it was evening and we were all sitting in someone's house. If anybody wanted mixers at that time, they would not run to the shop. And the fact that it can come to you in 10 minutes has obviously exploded the category. And we just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Wonderful. So now next questions will be based on some of the interesting topic which comes in our head whenever quick commerce is concerned. Like we think about whether this is a sustainable model or this is really profitable one, because there is a baggage of thought process about Amazon story that it is still having a very linear margin. So now coming to that particular point, we really have to discuss that about unit economics. Before that, I just want to ask something which has come out in my research as well. That we talk about Q-commerce or e-commerce, and that has come because we have really lesser penetration in modern trade. But when commerce also came, on the grocery segment especially, we have very lesser penetration. It was hardly 2%. But in Q-commerce, grocery has a huge TAM. But this TAM versus profitability, how is your brand doing?
See, ultimately, everything has to be looked at, in a way where you look at the marketplaces and you look at the brand also. See, these marketplaces, or rather these platforms, they also have immense, pressure to improve their financial metrics. So, and everything stems from there, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of venture capital that has been raised on the back of a certain story, a certain hope that certain part of the consumption of the household basket will go towards quick com, and certain part will remain with the e-commerce marketplaces, whereas the offline modern trade, general trade, as well as the other channels will sort of succumb to, will give up some of the market share, right? 8-10 हज़ार करोड़ ऐसे तो मार्केट नहीं बढ़ गई ना, अगर 6-7 हज़ार करोड़ पे टोटल मिला के कर रहे हैं लोग अब सब रफली, मतलब मैं GMV की बात कर रहा हूँ, नेट की नहीं कर रहा, तो एकदम से ग्रोथ तो नहीं है ना ये, मतलब GDP is growing at 6-7% roughly, तो one cannot expect the consumption to just, so they have taken away market share from someone. Let's just accept it. There's no point in going into GT से लिया से लेक, share तो सबका गया है, stagnant categories हैं काफी marketplaces पे. Is the reality. Now, if you look at that reality, the transfer of capital has happened from one channel to another. Now, the transfer of capital has to be proven. So, all of the platforms that are in question, the quick commerce platforms, if you look at from their lens, what they need to do, they need to, do three things actually really well. One is the store growth, new store growth. That has to prove itself. Then the metrics and the contribution margins of those stores in a certain timeline. The third is eventually their marketing revenues, which is, मैं बोलता हूँ मलाई इनके धंधे की, ठीक है, वो 1000 करोड़ रुपए उनके फ्री के आते हैं, ठीक है, चाहे 50 लोगों की टीम रखें, चाहे 100 लोगों की टीम रखें, it will not matter because it's such a good, healthy bottom line business, vertical for them. So ultimately, for brands that are very popular, that are well known, and that already have a consumer base, they will see their unit economics in picture, and even the platforms will see the unit economics for those brands in tandem, in synchronicity, because there is enough volume as well as there is margin there. Like you would maybe see how brands do on DMart, for example. But a lot of the long tail brands and brands that are not that popular, do not have that critical mass of consumers, that is still questionable according to me as to how eventually a win-win will be created. It is still playing out. So tread at your own caution.
So one data point I just want to inject here. So as of now, we do talk about it, and actually Bharat mentioned about it in a subtle way. So for Q-commerce, the AOV per GDP per capita is really high. So that means that if your average order value increases and your order frequency increases, so that EBITDA will improve, and that proof is also coming. We'll talk about it. But now if I just ask to you, Aman, about the same question, like how in your case unit economics is working.
Yeah, I think just taking forward what Bharat said, for especially because we are an early stage brand, right? And I'm sure a lot of early stage brands do face this, who are actually fighting a lot more traditional incumbents who have deep pockets and are huge mammoths, right? And typically what we will realize is that there is a high cost of operating on these channels, right? And it does come with the pressure of how do you put the right unit economics in place. Our view is very, very fundamental to this, and this is something which we have also learned over a period of time, right? See, unit economics has to be looked at from a gross margin, CM1, CM2 level, right? And I would say for different brands, the answer lie in different parts of this overall unit economics, right? Frankly, if you ask me, for us, and this is how I would simplify this, right? There is an A, there is a V, there is a C, right? So you essentially spend some money to be available on these QComs, and then you spend some money to be visible on the QCom, and finally you spend some money to be able to get the customer's conversion done on the QCom, right? And that is where you have to make that smart choice. See, initially unit economics would have some repercussions when you are in early stage and you are still trying to build the right A and the V. Gradually you will realize that the larger amount of money is being spent on driving C because availability is sorted, and hence visibility organically has also started to come in. But there has to be a very well thought through methodical way of how unit economics for different brands are to be put down. There is a way to break even and to make money also, but that has to come with a certain in a certain period of time, right? And with the right sort of optimizations across the unit economics and the PNL, as I see.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And I'll just move to Sahil. I'll just twist the question a little bit. Uh, so the question is, we're talking about unit e-commerce, but economics, but on hyper local business like Q-commerce, where most of the business is based on the population density, and most of the Q-commerce brands in top cities of India are operating in the range of 1 to 2 kilometer radius, right? 1.87 is the average now. So that means that you need to have that kind of dark stores which can fulfill those requirements in 10-15 minutes, because there is a research again that if that time crosses 15 minutes, there was a retention, there was an attrition. So that means that if I cross that, then I was losing customer. So how this unit economics has a play in your vertical to have this hyper local mechanism to serve the population density of the local area?
So, very good twist on that question. I was not expecting that. But let's go back to basics, right? I'm in a category where it's a planned purchase. Where very few sanitary pads are purchased as an emergency, because most women know when they're going to get their period. Most people know sabun ghar mein khatam ho raha hai, you need to buy it. A coffee might be an impulse purchase because guests aa gaye, or cocktails might be an impulse purchase. Mine is not. So where I'm going with this is, I think that this 10-minute, 15 minutes is a very cool party trick. And it's nice, and we all use it, believe me. Fresh pasta, tomatoes order kar do, ab bhi banana hai, fresh, right? It works, it's very cool. But I think that this party trick will get old in a few months and years, and ultimately some sanity will survive that. Ultimately, when you go outside our houses, the middle class still buys onion potatoes with that mirchi and nimbu free. Right? So I think it's very cool. What we're seeing a very cool innovation started by COVID. We all love it, 15 minutes. I don't think in some time this metric will be relevant.
Especially your brand, right? Your type of category.
In general, no, I don't think just for my brand. I think in general that this 10-15 minutes is going to dilute to 30 minutes, and brands will, and the companies, these 5-6 companies will realize that this is not the primary driver of business. It may be today's metric, but it won't be. Like you started by saying, first it was modern trade, the 1.0, 2.0, 3.4. This will also evolve. Today, this is a very cool, neat trick that we're getting used to it, and it's nice. But that innovation will fade.
Okay.
That 15-minute is, then what else? Uske upar kya?
Yeah. Okay.
Right? It's not going to, that's not the primary driver of all our decisions on our purchase or home decisions.
Speed is not the only parameter.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It is that today.
So it is probably the CAC to have that customer.
Yes.
acquisition, and then probably we have
Yes.
to go
Today
to our
it
own
might be,
fundamentals.
but it might not be this in 6 months. And I don't know what the new one's going to be, but I'd love others to comment on it.
Yes,
But
Ankur has to comment
yeah,
on this.
Also, not to everyone, right? There are many Indias within India. So to some people, that convenience factor is very critical, but to large population, it might not be that cool a trick actually.
Ankur, unit economics, in your case, it has doubled, right? Your profit margin.
No, I think, see, me and Sahil were discussing earlier. General trade, by and large in India, retail, there are about 10 million shops. That's the more profitable business for anybody. But if you, and the, where do you pay there? You pay to the retailer, an X margin, and you pay to the distributor a Y margin. In the quick commerce case, that X plus Y mostly will equal to what you pay to the quick commerce guy, right? Every brand will have a different story. So I think at that, till that point, everything is equal. There is no difference, because if you include it, would that be right, Sahil? Would your margin to your quick commerce operator would be equal to your distributor plus your retailer margin, ballpark? Plus GT is much more efficient. Okay.
by far the most profitable channel.
Okay. Right. But by and large, mostly you will find that even then the difference would be not more than 5%. Okay. The margin you're paying to the quick commerce guys. Right. Okay. Now, India has 10 million stores. Right. Most startups, most new F&B let's say FMCG startups who want to go into retail were always designed to go to top 25,000 outlets at the best case scenario. The better startups like Sahil's has managed to scale to 200,000 outlets, right? But that's a very, very rare case. How does a startup compete with an HULs of the world or the Kellogg's of the world or the other established Daburs of the world who are probably in millions of outlets or 10 lakh, 15 lakh outlets? You cannot. So one of the things that quick commerce is also enabling is the ecosystem where you can actually fight or compete with certain global MNCs and Indian giants head on. So I think that enables the ecosystem. So I think let's be there. So that's point one. The second point is that there is, and again I tend to agree with Sahil, it's not about the 10 or 15 or minutes. It's about a habit. It's about an impulsive habit now that I don't know at one point, and I'm sure everybody in the audience will agree, that somewhere last year, I don't know when my household became 99% Blinkit. I don't know when that happened. It just happened sometime. I didn't realize it. I used to go to the store next to my house, but it sort of disappeared now. Now it's a novelty. I take my kids sometimes to see, hey, look, what stores look like. Still a metro phenomena. Yes, still a, top, let's say 4 or 5 city phenomena. But the unit economics, coming back to now your original question, the unit economics actually are better for the quick commerce operators in tier 2 because of the population density. Why should we assume that the habits that the urban consumers living in metro cities were able to adopt so fast will not be adopted by the tier 2s? And I personally think that we are at the beginning of the explosion of quick commerce right now. More is yet to come.
Yeah, our times is up. But I thought like 45 minutes is it was 45 minutes, I believe, right? Yeah, so, okay, then we have to end it. But before we end, we just wanted to continue with another story which you are just talking about. Ankur talked about it, the tier 2 cities thing. So 2 months back, Walmart's international CEO talked about that right now Q-commerce in India is 20% of e-commerce. And this particular vertical, which was non-existent 3 years back, suddenly has become 20%, which is a huge disruption, And they're talking about that instead of 20% of e-com, right now, if you just think about our e-com is around 65 to 70 billion dollar economy. So that means Q-com is around $12 billion economy. But our retail is around $850 billion economy right now, which is supposed to become 1 trillion in next 4 to 5 years. And people are talking about that whether retail will be relevant anymore or Q-commerce will be the next big thing. And 20% of retail business will come from Q-commerce. So then instead of $12 billion discussion we are having right now, it will become like $200 billion discussion. So Q-commerce can become that big because of this population density. And this is also one thing, like have a lot of data points but don't have time, that households in India, 1,000 households have one particular 43 Kirana stores in India. So that means the Kirana stores density, like in a lot of tier 2 cities, every 5 block is one Kirana store. So that is getting replaced by Q-commerce. So that means the acceptance of it will be huge. Of course, there are digital marketing spend, all those commissions right now, which probably will get verticalized later, and we probably have a different kind of a view. But before we end, we have a quick rapid fire, and which will be like questions which all have to answer within quick time. Please,
Sure,
please,
sure, sure.
2 more minutes, 2 more
Of course,
minutes.
quick commerce, quick questions.
Quick questions, rapid fire. And this particular rapid fire, you cannot take your brand's name, okay? So it has to be something which you have to just tell on the go. What is your favorite brand apart from yours?
Jimmy's.
So all friends here. Yes, actually,
No, seriously.
you know, Ankur called you also. Where are you, Bharat? When you're late. So, okay, I understand that.
Invested in mine.
What is Ankur's? Don't tell Reg. Sahil? Reg coffee. Aman?
I would probably be a more personal care brand. I mean, I use CC a lot.
Okay. Okay. Conscious? Chemist. Okay, good. Now we are talking about Q-commerce. Hello, listen to the question, then we'll talk.
आप टाइम ले रहे हो, सबको भूख लग रही है यार, चलो फारिग करो।
Please यार,
फटाफट
knowledge की भूख चाहिए.
फटाफट
Yes. Next is like time spent on Q-commerce platforms.
0
You don't.
only on the back end,
You?
So
seller panel only.
I would say maybe 15-20 minutes a week.
A week? Oh, the founders do not spend time on Q-commerce.
5
Okay.
minutes a week.
5 minutes a week. 0. Okay.
ये भी
Some of-
largely अपनी brand को ही देखने के लिए जाता है क्या चल रहा है।
Wait, I thought you talk about my purchase behavior.
No.
Oh.
Yes. You're spending how much time in scrolling Q-commerce
No,
categories?
how much I spend?
Yeah, 5 minutes a week.
Five,
nah, you
10 minutes a
told.
week, yeah.
You're a very busy person, right? Okay, now last question because we are like out of time. Meta campaigns costing for D2C channel versus marketing spend on Q-commerce. Which one is your preferred one?
GT.
You
I would say QCom right now.
okay? Sahil?
General trade.
Ayyo.
हम होर्डिंग लगाते हैं, बिलबोर्ड लगाते हैं. But yeah.
Option was not there.
But I think, yeah, quick commerce for us, because I think for different categories it works differently.
Yeah.
So the meta CAC is just gone through the
Yes. Thank you so much.